Hello everyone, welcome to youth group. Great to see you. Well, great to be seen, I guess. I don't know. Today, we are not going to be discussing pandemic-related spirituality. We're going to be discussing the idea of God and the idea of if humanity made God or if God has been around prior to that. Make sure you're ready to go because it's pretty deep. There's a story in the Old Testament about Moses, and some of you may know the story and some of you may not. And basically, the story of a baby, a Jewish baby that was born as a slave that was sent up a river and raised by the Egyptians that were enslaving the Israelites. So the baby was born, he was named Moses. He became one of the princes of Egypt. You may have seen that movie, the little cartoon from the 90s. And he was raised as a prince. And one day he accidentally kills another Egyptian and he runs away in fear of getting in trouble. So as he runs away, he becomes a shepherd with another family. And one day, as he's tending to the flock of sheep, he finds a bush that's burning, but it's not consuming the bush. So the bush is just like constantly on fire. And the bush speaks to him and says, "Hey, come here, I want to tell you something." And the bush says, "I am God, and I have something for you to do."
What?
"I want you to go free your people from slavery." And this is what Moses says in response to that. Moses said to God, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?" And God said, "I will be with you. And this will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain." And then Moses said to God, "Suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, 'The God of your fathers had sent me to you.' And they ask me, 'What is his name?' Then what shall I say to them?" And God said to Moses, "I am who I am." Or, another way to say it is, "I will be what I will be." This is what you are to say to the Israelites: "I am has sent me to you." Now, I am is a pretty silly name to use for God because most gods have pretty cool names like Thor or Zeus or Hermes or Aphrodite, like interesting names. But God just says that I am. He doesn't even give him a name. And that's on purpose. When gods have names, we kind of understand the whole point of them, and in a way we can control them. So Thor in Norse mythology is the god of thunder and the god of fertility. Zeus is the god of lightning or the god of storms. So if you know a god's name, you kind of know what the god is in control of, especially if you have a religion where there's lots of gods. You can kind of call out to a certain god and ask them to do stuff for you. Well, God is saying, "I am," which is a big statement saying that I just am God. There is no other gods. I am the God of it, of all of it. The word "I am" is translated as the word Yahweh, which is a Hebrew word, and that literally means I am, or I am what I am. It's God saying that I am bigger than what you think. I just am. God just is, and God has always been, and God will always be. So he's saying that there's this bigness to God that is bigger than human power over gods. So Yahweh is not a God that can be taken control of or be manipulated into doing things for us, but rather God is bigger than us and is asking us to be a part of his plan, which is different from other gods in that time period. With God saying that he is, that I am, it's inclusive, which means that he's including everyone as part of the plan. There's no one that's excluded. So there's inclusiveness and there's exclusiveness, and God is inclusive, saying that he's allowing all of us to be a part of it. And not just us, but the whole earth, the whole creation, the whole universe is a part of God and a part of God's plan. There's this bigness to God that is allowing us to be a part of it. So being inclusive means he's including us. It means he's welcoming us. It means he's inviting us into being a part of what he wants to do with the world. Sometimes in religion, we can become exclusive or become dualistic, which means that people are either in or out. That means that there's black or white thinking, which means it's either this way or that way. It means that there's right and then there's wrong, and if you're wrong, you are out. But what God is saying is that all of that is welcome. There's gray in between. Even the people that are on the one side or the other side are both welcome into what he's creating. There's no one that's excluded. And God says this to the Israelites. He says, you are my chosen people. The Israelites are God's people. And yet what they've missed is the second part, saying, make the rest of the nations like you as well. So include other people into my plan. Don't just make it for yourself. And they missed that part in the story in the Old Testament. They became a select group and said that because they were God's chosen people, that they were special, and they've kind of holed themselves up and didn't make their nation as big as it could have been because they were supposed to be inviting other nations into that. God wants to transform us into what he wants to do. By saying I am, it's saying there's something bigger than you, and you are invited into this plan. To do that, we also have to become inclusive ourselves. We have to be welcoming and inviting and including of others, just as God is. God wants us to be more like him rather than what other religions may have done, which is turn their gods into visions of the people that are worshiping them. God wants us to be bigger than ourselves, and that's where the church comes in. The idea that we can come together, we can grow, and we can build, and we can connect together and include others together. It connects us more to God and connects us to his plan better. Sometimes, even today in the church, we like to make God into images that look like us to justify excluding others. So God only listens to this type of music, or God only talks to people like this, or that look like this, or act like this. But what God is saying as being I am is that all of us are included. It's bigger than just the idea of what we think church should be like, or what worship should be like, or what religion should look like. God is bigger than all of that, and God includes all people into his plan and transforms us into people who make his plan get bigger and grow stronger. So the idea that God said Yahweh, this is the first kind of a symbol of that God is bigger and that God is infinite. So infinity, we know what infinity is, but God is saying that he is infinity. And this idea that God is so big, so infinite, like is the expanding universe, and that he welcomes us into that should give us like pause to wonder and be amazed at how big God is. Because it's easy for us to worship something that we understand. But God is saying, you'll never fully understand me, which is kind of mysterious, which is when we talk about the mystery of God. That's the idea that there's this being, there's this thing that we can't fully understand, but it's still, this thing welcomes us and invites us in to be with him or with it, and allows us to be a part of its plan. And this is pretty amazing. So this is something to add to the mystery of God, is that we are invited into this being's plan. The idea of what God is trying to transform the universe into, we are welcome to that, and we are a part of that, and we are in that plan. If you go throughout your day and you think about God and you think about how big God is, look at the trees, look at the sky, look at the cars driving down the road, look out your window, look at the grass, look at everything around you, and know that God is with you, and God is a part of it. He isn't just the God of the harvest. He isn't just the God of the ocean. He isn't just the God of the stars. He is the God of all of it. He's a part of it. He's in it. He's with us as we go throughout our days. So it's kind of a cool message to know that God is bigger than all of this. And to end today, I want to do a kind of a guided meditation prayer. When you say the word Yahweh, you have to breathe in and out to say it. So Yahweh, Yahweh. God is the first word that we say when we're a baby. We're born and we breathe in. And then when we die, the last thing we do is we breathe out. So every breath in between the first and the last, we're breathing the name of God, Yahweh, in and out, in and out. So let's just take a moment and breathe deeply and realize that God is as close to us as our lungs. God is with us. God is here. God is inside of us. God is in our lungs. He's as close as the air in our lungs. Have a great day. And Apollo is this, what is Apollo? I don't even know. And Hermes or Mercury is the I don't even know what that god is. What's the one? What's that one god? Hera. No, it doesn't matter. Okay.